Hey guys, it is Esti and Justin from Not For Long Media.
If you like the video you're about to watch, be sure to like the video itself and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it.
Enjoy the video, and also don't forget to follow us on our socials at Not For Long Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
All right, so we got the great Brian Baldinger on today, someone who's become a friend in this industry, someone I look up to in the industry. I have, and now I get to work with and kind of rub elbows with as a player, as a media member, and him and I both wear a lot of different hats. Him in particular, he's all over the place calling games. You see him on Baldy's Breakdown. Brian Baldinger, appreciate you joining us today, man.
Colin, good to be with you, man. Good to be with you. Start of a new year. Happy New Year to you. And all those kind of good things. Finish the season strong, stay healthy. And the off season is right around the corner for you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we finished in Tampa this weekend. Obviously, Super Bowl champs, and we had a tough loss to them last time at home. We're going down to Tampa, so it'll be nice to get down there. And there's something about going on the road. I know you could talk about this from your time as a player and even time as a broadcaster. There's something special about going on the road. You're hunkered down. You're with your people.
Yeah.
And even with your broadcast team, it's unique where you get to do that. So I'm excited, man. It's been a tough year, but excited to finish on a strong note against obviously the best team in the world in Tampa Bay Bucks. So this third defending champs. So all's good though. But you're in South Florida and you're always down there, blowing bubble, free diving. I do some free diving myself. And now are you spear fishing or are you just free diving to check things out?
I'm not spear fishing yet, Colin, because I've been doing this thing now for a while. I've always been a diver, but now I want to, I'm not saying competitively free dive, but I got friends that can hold their breath for 3 minutes. I can't do that. If I could get to 3 minutes, a lot of it is technique, and I gotta, there's some people that want to teach me it. So I'm gonna get it done this off season. But if I'm holding my breath for a minute 15 seconds, I'm not pulling any grouper up out of that water in a minute 15 seconds. So I just feel like I got to get better before I start doing that. But I'm gonna do it. Leonard Big Cat Williams with the Giants is a free diver. He's a spear fisherman. I know a lot of guys in the league that can do it, and I have friends down here in Florida that can do it. I just want to get better before I take that on.
Yeah, it's a serious endeavor. Now, I've used Hawaiian sling before, which just, as you know, just a little rubber band sling, and it's some good shallow water stuff. And I've shot hogfish in the Keys down in Key West doing that, and that's awesome. You're in 10 to 15 feet of water.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's great. Now, you go to Hawaii. I've seen that before as well.
Yeah. No, in fact, I just sent my nephew there. He's a surfer. So he just got out of college last year. So he's just kind of hacking around his lifeguard. But I just sent him to Hawaii. I put him in touch with some of my people out there. But I've been going to Hawaii, Colin, every year since I started doing the Pro Bowl there back in 2001. So almost 20 straight years. There was one year I don't think I went, but I would stay, do the Pro Bowl, and then go to Maui. And so I have friends over there, and we go dive with these dolphins and turtles. So I get in the water as much as I can there, because the water is always good. It's never a bad day. It's never okay, no visibility today or rough. I mean, it's always good, and it's always warm. So you give me warm, clear water, you're not going to get me out. So I'll stay in there all day.
It looked like it was calm day today in Fort Lauderdale. Great Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, it was calm. It was really calm. It was calm, but the visibility wasn't very good today. You just never know until you go under. Until you just. I mean, it looked great. I mean, when I woke up this morning with the sun, I knew it was going to be a good day. I had to get some work done. But as soon as I got the work done, literally, I had my dive shorts on while I was doing the show. So I was literally just ripped the jacket off, and I went right outside, when I was in the water in minutes. So I'm right on the shore here. So it's convenient for me.
So are you suit jacket on, swim trunks underneath?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Flip-flops.
Yeah. Flip-flops.
If the visibility's not bad, if the visibility's bad, you can always just hang a left to the elbow room or go to boat camp.
I can do that, and I might head down there tonight, Colin. The thing is this is, you spent your time in the Northeast. I mean, I walked out of my house yesterday to go to NFL Films, and I hit a patch of black ice. I swear to God, I'd never hit the deck so hard in my life. And I mean, it was bad. And I was going, I got to get to Florida, man. I can't be messing around with these old bones hitting black ice. Like in white, I was like, first of all, when you wipe out like that, you just look around like, is anybody watching me? My neighbors see me, but I was like, I mean, I just don't need that. I just don't. It's the whole time driving NFL films out there. I was like, how many hours until I get to Fort Lauderdale, man? Because I don't want to hit the black ice anymore.
You booked a flight before you even hit the deck. You stepped on that black ice. The flight was booked.
Oh yes, yeah, the flights are so cheap. I mean, my flight cost $73, Colin. Yeah. $73 one way to Philly to Fort Lauderdale. I mean, you're here, you're up and down in 2.5 hours, man. You read the newspaper, I mean, you look at your notes, whatever, and next thing you know, you're touching down, you're here.
Yeah, it's a great place. I was lucky enough to have a friend in college that lived right there, right across from Bo Campers, and
yeah,
we
I love Bo Camp.
Yeah,
Bo Campers was my when I was down here during when I could get down here during the season this year. That's where I watched Thursday Night Football from. I watched it from Bo Campers, man. It's just football fans in there, just sipping beers, man, having a good time.
Yeah, it's a great spot. There's a great little Greek restaurant right across from the
way. It is. Yeah.
Greek Island or whatever that is. It's a good spot. So
right on A1A, I know it.
Yeah, it's a good spot. So you mentioned the Pro Bowl, and I want to hit on that. Now, you started calling Pro Bowls in Hawaii. I've heard some great stories over the years from coaches that I've worked with, and then I've heard stories from Marty Morningway, because Skylar and I went to college together. We're rivals at St. John's Prep and Archbishop Wood, and Marty and the Eagles and Andy Reid were doing the game all the time because they were sadly losing in the NFC Championship game. So I've heard some awesome stories, but how has it changed since you started calling the game to now? Right now, it's a way different spectrum. I think it's fantastic within Vegas, but
yeah, it's in Vegas now. But I mean, I think the last time it was in Hawaii, I was there. So I remember I was on the field, and I was talking to Jesse Sapolo, who's a longtime 49er. Great center, Colin, and great guard and center for a lot of the 80s teams. I think he's got 3 or maybe 4 Super Bowls. But anyways, he's a great guy. He does a lot of stuff with the Polynesian community over there. So we're watching the game, like we're in the end zone. We're standing there together and we're watching it. And like literally, I couldn't even tell you who was playing, but like literally, they're not even tackling. Like it looked like a Thursday afternoon practice in December in the NFL or January. Like it was just literally like thud, and then the momentum would stop, and then the whistle would blow. And I looked at Jesse and go, when did this happen? Like when did they just stop tackling? Like I can remember Kurt Warner being over there when he was there. And I remember guys from the Steelers, like literally, like they were not supposed to blitz and all this kind of stuff. They have certain rules for it. But I remember going, Kurt Warner hadn't been hit this hard all season. And he's, like it was, so it's changed a lot. It's changed, I feel like they could be just as effective if they just did autograph signings and, they took pictures and stuff like that. But I mean, it's not really, they're trying to incentivize it to make it more competitive. I don't know that you're ever going to see that again.
Yeah. I think the guys that are in the game, they're making enough money, or they're setting money that what's another 10 to 15 grand. I know that may sound bad, but for what the numbers that these guys are making, it's dropping the bucket. Now it's interesting. It's good that it's going to Vegas, because now you got a whole event around it. The stands will be full. I don't know if they'll be full, but I think there's going to be more people than there is in Orlando. Mm-hmm. More accessible, obviously, than Hawaii. If you're in LA and you want to drive out for the weekend and hang, because all the NFL players are going to be out and about, because it's not just going to be the Pro Bowlers. A lot of the NFL guys are heading to that area.
Yeah. You need a destination, Colin. Like, I mean, really the coolest thing about the Pro Bowl when it was in Hawaii. Now, I think they're condemning Hula Stadium and all this stuff, but Aloha Stadium. But it was a destination for every fan base in the league. And so you go out there and you go through the tailgating out in the parking lot, and it was a good setup for tailgating. I mean, it was every team in the league was represented. I mean, Jacksonville had their fans there. They might have had a player or two, who knows? But every team was represented, and it was a destination. And that's really, I mean, it's as much for the fans. And then, so when you're at the Hilton Hawaiian Village or, one of the places in Waikiki, I mean, you never know what fan, what players would be hanging out at the pool. I remember one year, like Tony Siragusa, like he flew the whole Ravens staff over there. So there was Rex Ryan drinking a Mai Tai at the pool. And, I mean, that was pretty cool. Guys, even even last year, I did the Hula Bowl last year, and we were over there and just seeing guys, kids, college kids, like trying to surf. They're out there in the water, and all the activities and stuff there. I mean, that was a good place. So Vegas will present a lot of that, because of what it is and what how much fun it is and around the clock and stuff like that. So we just need a place where the fans, the players, everybody can really go and enjoy themselves and really celebrate the year that they had. You should celebrate the fact that you've been voted amongst, the best by your peers.
Yeah, there's nothing better. I love when we get the ballot. I wish I could vote for tight ends. I think it's crazy that we can't vote for tight ends.
I don't get that at all.
It's crazy. It's all I watch. I watch every week. I tune on watch what the Niners do and about the first half of the game they played in to see how the Kittle and those guys are playing in the offense. Yeah. I watch the Rams. Right, we do similar stuff. I fit in well into those schemes, so I watch a lot of the wide zone stuff to play action.
Yeah.
So I watch every guy. I wish I could vote on that, but I'm voting on like Sam backers, which is great. Yeah, outside backers and ends, which is great. And again, we face some good ones, but we only face a handful of them.
Right.
No,
so, I always thought the voting was flawed. Yeah. I really always did. I mean, I felt the same way when I was a player. If I was playing right now and I was playing guard or center, I mean, I'd be watching Quentin Nelson and Jason Kelsey, and I'd be doing the same thing you're doing. I'd be watching all these guys, just seeing what I could pick up, what I could learn. What are they doing that I could adopt? How they handle that stunt. Maybe that's a good way to do it. Let's try it. I mean, I always watch the best. And so I knew who the defensive tackles were, but there's years you don't face guys from some divisions. I mean, imagine if you never faced TJ Watt this year. Like, you'd vote for him still. Yeah, you'd still vote for him, but you'd have a little bit better voting. Like, let's just say you didn't play against Jeffrey Simmons in Tennessee. Like, I think they've got an awesome front, maybe the best in football. And Jeffrey Simmons is not going to the Pro Bowl. When I watch Jeffrey Simmons, like, how is he not going to the Pro Bowl? But like the whole voting is flawed. Like, he belongs in the Pro Bowl, period.
Yeah. It is a very interesting way. I would definitely I would suggest to change it just so we can vote on the tight ends, because that's all I watch. Yeah. I mean, their DNs don't get, no doubt. But again, I'm voting on the NFC. So it's like, all right, who's the Mike backer in the NFC that we face? But like, we didn't even face one, so yeah, it is what it is. It's a cool thing, but I think, it's great. They're getting the fans back involved and that's some unique stuff about the Pro Bowl. But, I digress. So you get your hand in a lot of different things, Baldy. We see you on NFL Network. We hear you doing radio. We follow you during college football season. What is on the slate here as the season winds down? Like, what were you doing last week when the season was kind of still in the thick of it into like the transition into the playoffs?
Well, I mean, it really, my college season ended doing the Big Ten championship game. Kind of got called on a lark. Some people got COVID, so they called me, so I did it. Michigan, Iowa. So I had to kind of, like, in a matter of days, get boned up for that. Just, I knew who Aiden Hutchinson was, and, I knew who Jim Harbaugh was, but I didn't know a whole lot about Michigan. I had to learn it. So I went and studied real hard. But I was in Minnesota. I was in Indianapolis last week for the Raiders and Colts game. I had been a big fan of Max Crosby. I've been doing a lot of breakdowns of Max really for the last 3 years. Yeah, he's a great player, great kid, just, really turned his life around. But I'd never met Max. I mean, he watches all my stuff, and, I connect with him, via Twitter and whatnot, but I'd never met him. So I was really excited. Like, he was warming up, he came running over, and, we just kind of caught up a little bit. So it was good. And I talked to, Mike, I just did what I do during games, talked to Mike Mayock for a long time, and saw Carson and saw Quentin Nelson and some guys. So, I was kind of getting ready. I did that game. And then I was able to get back to NFL Film Sunday night, and I broke that game down, broke the Eagles game down, did some stuff, and then it's really, just really heavy film study. I try to watch every team. I try to treat all 32 the same. I can't always get to all 16 games the way I'd like to. It's just time consuming with a lot of other stuff. I work for Sky Sports in London. I do a TV show for them every Tuesday. I'm going over to London to do their playoffs for them. I'm doing the Super Bowl for them out in LA. So I'll be busy doing that. I'm the national radio voice of Odyssey Sports. So Odyssey Radio. So I get called from around the country to, find out about their team and what's wrong with Tua in Miami, whatever it is, I mean, fans got to vent, and, some of the radio people in some of these cities are a little over the top, but, so it's just I kind of juggle a lot of things, Colin, but it's all basically, if I sit there and watch enough tape on any game and any team, I can tell you what their strengths and the weaknesses are. I can tell you right now, the Rams have their hands full with the way the 49ers run their zone scheme. They just do. And you can't play that zone scheme and still play man coverage, because Kittle's going to knock you. You're going to take yourself right out of the box if you're trying to cover Kittle doing that. So, they kind of dictate a lot of stuff, and the Rams have had problems with it. They're a great defense, but they're not a great defense. So you kind of break that game down. You say, okay, this is the challenge to the Rams and what they like to do. And if their change up, if they're running against them, is to go to a 4-man defense line, sometimes that's the worst thing, because then they trap all the guys inside on their zone cutoff. So, you just try to stay ahead of this stuff and kind of predict what might happen and some of the things that can happen.
There's so many good things to digest there. You and I could go down a huge rabbit hole of the wide zone and talk about defense and how to play it, and the importance of the tight ends, the front side tackle, the backside guys, the cutback, the play action. We'll be here all day. We got a podcast to do. I would love to swing by NFL Films and sit in with you too. That would be a blast. But how's it changed the buy-in on just the stuff that you're doing? Because it was kind of revolutionary in its own way. Fans want to see more of the game. They want more answers, especially, we're in Philly, big market. People want to know why.
You know what it is, Colin? They deserve more.
Yeah.
I mean, I do games on Sunday. I mean, I worked at Fox for 12 years doing games on Sundays. I know what Troy Aikman or Chris Collins, Tony Romo, I know what they're all up against. I mean, you got 12 seconds to kind of digest the play. And sometimes, it might have been something off it could have been a penalty. Like, you're not even digesting the play. You're just, trying to figure out, is this an interference, not interference? So there's so much is going on, as you know. I mean, so much goes into a play that makes it work, doesn't make it work. It's scheme, it's talent, it's down distance, it's exceptional effort. I mean, there's so many different things. And so fans can't, no matter how hard they say they want to watch it, nobody can. I can't sit here and watch a game and tell you everything. You have to go back and slow it down and comb it and then just kind of pick pieces apart. And I started it 4 years ago because I felt like there was a need for it. But what really blew me away was how many of the players watch it and how important to the players it was. I mean, there was Mondays or Tuesdays I'd be putting this stuff out, and literally Jalen Ramsey's watching every single one. And I'm texting him going, Jalen, it's your day off, man. Like, go have some fun. But players like want to know what's going on around the league, and they can't sit there and watch all these games, but they can watch 2 minutes of the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. I mean, they can watch certain parts. Okay, how do they block Vita Vea in this game? Like nobody else can, whatever it might be. So and I try to teach the game because it's a very complex game, and I don't pretend to know everything at all. I hear from other players about some things that I get wrong. That's fine. But it's a complex game. It's difficult to teach. And I think fans really want to try to learn more.
No doubt about it. There's definitely a hunger for it. There's definitely a hunger for it. And from a player's perspective, it's awesome, right? Because you're like, wow, this is breath of fresh air here. This is not a fan saying, what is this quarterback doing on this play? It's like, well, the tackle tripped and TJ Watt's in his face. Like, well, what do you want him to do? Or, hey, they brought cover zero blitz. Why is the quarterback throwing off his back foot? Right. That's the famous thing,
Yeah.
McNabb throwing off his back foot all the time. Well, they're bringing cover zero blitz. You can't protect everybody. So I think that's another thing. It's a breath of fresh air as a player. It's like, okay, the media doesn't matter and tweets don't matter from people that you don't know or wouldn't ask advice from, but you see them. And then for you, it's like, you're like the defender of the guard. You're like, this is what it is. This is what happened on this play. Like, nothing happens by mistake. It's what I try to tell people. Yeah. I also try to tell viewers too, like, start around the offensive line. Like, you want to enjoy the football game, watch the offensive line, defensive line battle. You're going to learn so much more than just staring at the quarterback. And I'll transition to this. You're big an O-line guy. You're an O-line guy at heart, but you watch and you learn about the game. You're talking pass rush moves. You're talking cover. You're covering effort. Who are the O linemen in the league that you enjoy watching the most? Obviously, you said Quentin Nelson. It's got to be one of them.
Well, I mean, Rashawn Slater's been unbelievable at the left tackle, the rookie left tackle for the Chargers. I mean, I could count on one hand, Colin, number of times he's been beat this year. I mean, I don't care if he's going up against Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons or whatever. I mean, he's rock solid, and he's really good in the run game. He's really strong, and he's really smart. He takes good angles. I was concerned because, he didn't play his final year at Northwestern, and he's the first lineman off the board, or second, whatever it was, and literally he's played every snap for the Chargers. And if you could say, okay, what's the biggest reason why Justin Herbert has even played better this year than he did last year? It's because, they really addressed the offensive line. Matt Filer at left guard and Corey Linsley at center, and Slater at left. Like, he doesn't need a lot of help. They don't chip block over there a lot. Austin Eckler's in a route. They don't slide to protect them, even going up against a Myles Garrett or somebody elite like that. So, I mean, he's been really good. Trey Smith in Kansas City and Creed Humphrey in Kansas City, those two rookies have been outstanding. I mean, Trey Smith he's about as nasty as it gets at that position in this league. He's the right guard for the Chiefs. It's really a great story. He had blood clots in Tennessee. A lot of teams took him right off of their draft board, just not a draftable player. It was an issue at Tennessee. He didn't practice a lot when he was there, but he was highly, highly recruited coming out of high school. He was a 5-star recruit. And, a lot of people wanted him. And so, Kansas City spent a 6th-round pick on him. And, it's where you should take a guy with a real risk like that. And he knows but he's a really smart kid. Like, his professors at Tennessee, like, they chime in when I talk about him. Like, you should see him in the classroom. Been special, like School 9. He did his football stuff. So those two have been really, really fun to watch. This Jordan Mailata in Philadelphia is unreal.
He's a monster.
Like, he's unreal. For a guy who never played the game until 4 years ago, it's unreal how good he is, how powerful he is, how light on his feet he is. And then the guy next to him, Lana Dickerson, is coming off a torn ACL against Florida a year ago. I mean, he's a year out, 13 months out of reconstructive surgery, and he's dominating inside right now. So there's just some guys that you just have to watch. You just have to watch them.
Our guy here is pretty damn good too, Taylor Melton.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Taylor. I know you know Taylor and watch his game. I've seen you do some breakdowns on him. He's an absolute machine at right tackle. We have some good guys. Matt Paradis is one of them too, who got things up. But I digress. No, the O-line position has changed. It's just been so much fun to watch. There's so much more of a spotlight on it now, right? There's a premium at draft picks for it now. Draft this guy, it's going to change your organization. Well, hold up, he's a left guard. Well, listen, that's the way of the world, and it's changed the game. The O-line, it's great. Like, all the game has changed, and everyone's saying it's opened up, and college football is infiltrated. But at the end of the day, whether it's preseason game or playoffs, it all starts up front, which has been such a fun thing, and that's my game too. So it's something I enjoy. For sure. But really why I want to have you on, Bry, is to talk John Madden. You followed him as a head coach. You followed him as a media member. He birthed so many things in this profession when it comes to, he's on Saturday Night Live. He's on commercials. He has a video game. He's doing what you do in the booth. He's breaking down film, bringing the game into people's, living rooms at a different level than it was before, right? The things we've talked about. But his legacy is the things he does in philanthropy, the bocce ball tournament. I mean, the guy, right, just like yourself, never stopped moving, and is tremendous, man. He died at 85, December 28, 2021.
Yeah.
What does he mean to you? What does he mean to the football world?
Well, I don't know that I would even be talking to you right now, Colin, if it wasn't for John. I'm not saying John opened the doors for me, but I thought when I was in your position, I thought there was John Madden and Pat Summerall, and then there was everybody else. And there was no knock on anybody else. I just thought, like, I did enough games. I played enough games when I was with the Cowboys and the Eagles that John and Pat were there. The bus was there. They were there on Friday practices. You kind of get to know them. Like, and we all knew that when John and Pat did the game, it was the biggest game of the week. Like there was no other hierarchy. So when I got done playing, like Matt Millen was just starting, and I liked Matt a lot, but he was just getting started, and I just felt like there was a need to get better as an analyst. Like there was. And John set the standard of what it should be about. I mean, he could describe what the Bear defense was in 20 seconds. And you came away in 20 seconds in the middle of the game, why the Bear defense was effective, why you played it, and what made it the Bear. Like the guy could just describe any part of the game. But then it was fun. Like he had a lot of fun doing it, And so when I went to Fox, in 1998 to do games. And back then, the hierarchy of analysts, it was John Madden, it was Matt Millen, it was Bill Moss, it was Tim Green, it was Jerry Glanville, and it was me. Like I was the new kid on the block. And so, you come into this room, we'd have a 3-day seminar every summer, Colin. So we'd go out to Los Angeles where Fox Sports is situated, and we spend 3 days interviewing coaches, or Matt Rule, or Sean McVay, whatever it might be, via big screen, and we'd ask questions, and we get some players on. Brett Favre always came on, and we'd have round robin questions and answers, and then we'd sit and break film down. And John kind of ran the whole thing. So, like when he spoke, it could be about anything. It could be to the commissioner about the game and the state of the game, and what we have to do to make it better, or it could be we don't give enough attention to the Hall of Famers and legacy players that came before us. Like there was something about the preservation and the importance of the game. John believed the game didn't need anything else. It didn't need cheerleaders. It didn't need pre-game shows. It needed people that knew the game, that liked talking about the game. And that's all it was. Like, you could say Brian Burns, like development as a player. Okay, like if you just put the spotlight on Brian Burns, you're going to see a spin, speed to power, dip, rip. You're going to see this kid got 5 different ways to get to the quarterback. But John knew that about every player. Like he was very intimidating. Like my father was intimidating to me. My dad was a Marine, and John was intimidating because I felt like if I didn't know my stuff forwards and backwards, and I was trying to have a conversation with John, like he's going to make you look bad. And so, but that's how he was about everything. The production of the game, the cameraman, Pat Summerall, whoever he was working with, like every part of the game, whatever your job was, John made you better. And everybody today at Fox, Rich Russo is the director for Troy Aikman's game. He started off at CBS on the bus with John, as a stat guy, like now he's the #1 director in the NFL. You can go through the list of Fran Morrison produces games for Fox. Fran Morrison was a guy that, started off at Fox, as a BA, just a broadcast associate with Madden, learning the game. And so everybody at Fox, at CBS, like they're all in a position of being the best at what they do right now because of the influence of John Madden.
Yeah, such powerful stuff. And the ripple effect is absolutely massive, right? People are into the game of football because of the Madden video game, whether they were friends or not, right? You go to your friend's house, you want to play Madden? Okay, sure. And then they have to practice and the drills, and like that was definitely his idea. Now that you say that, right? Like anybody would say, yeah, roll a video game out. Well, no, we're going to have drills and OTAs. Like all that stuff was in there. That was so cool looking back, and that's got to be the reason why. He did color commentary from 79 to 09, just going through some of the stuff I was looking up. He's inducted to the Hall of Fame in 06. 14 Sports Emmy Awards just for broadcasting alone. He's married his wife for 62 years. I thought that was a really cool
Virginia.
stat.
Yeah.
I mean, just what's the best way for him to be honored, Brian, from the league, from guys like you and I?
Well, we gave a tribute last week at all the games. We had a moment of silence. Everybody, I was in Indianapolis last Sunday. Moment of silence before the national anthem. John's picture was up there. I posted it, took a picture of it. It was in every stadium. So we had a moment, and I just happened to be doing the Raiders. So I was talking to Mike Mayock and their interim, head coach, Rich Bisaccia, he just let the Raiders know, because, a lot of kids don't know the history, but, Al Davis, Tom Flores, John Madden, all coached the Raiders, all Hall of Fame coaches. Like, there's a legacy of Raider coaches there, of how to play the game, all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff was there. I happened, when John left Fox and went to Monday Night Football with Al Michaels, Pat Summerall really didn't want to retire, so they put me with Pat Summerall for a year. So I was Pat's color analyst for a year. And so Pat's an unbelievable storyteller. He was healthy that year. He really enjoyed working with me. But inevitably, we'd always go to dinner on Friday nights as a crew. And John and the production team, Sandy Grossman and Bob Stenner, like, they were our production team. So we told Madden stories, like every Friday night. So, like, I sat there, I didn't say a word. I just sat and listened to the stories, and I mean, John just made the game. He just made it fun. There was a reason why he loved. I mean, he had claustrophobia. There's a reason why he didn't fly, but it was claustrophobia and everything. Like, he didn't like elevators, so his room had to be on the first floor, or it had to be a room accessible by a staircase. He could walk to the room. Like, he didn't like confined spaces. Like, really made him bug out. It was real. So he if you were on the bus with him and he wanted the 4 Buccaneer games against Carolina Panthers with Matt Rule as a coach, like, whoever the assistant was, those games better be in order on VHS tape back when it was VHS. Like, they better be in order next, like, on the film desk, ready to go, because this is what we're going to do for the first 200 miles. So, I mean, he was demanding, but demanding in a good way, though. He was demanding in a good way.
He seemed like a man that had some grace about him. So well respected. Obviously, a tremendous impact on us and the league. And who knows what the league is today without him, and the growth of the game and all the things that he did. So,
well, the one thing I would say, Colin, is the game was the most important thing. And the respecting the game and playing the game the right way. That was really important to him. And I feel like, nowadays, not just rule changes, some of the rule changes are important. Player safety is important. Like, John wasn't against any of that. But I do think there's a certain way, we saw a player walk off the field and throw his shoulder pads. And, we saw that happen last week in Tampa. Like, that would bother John. That's not a way. There's ways to handle adversity. There's ways to handle things that would bother John. Respecting the game was really important. The game was there before any of us. It's going to be here after all of us. Like, let's leave the game in better shape all the way around, when we leave the game. And I felt like that was really important to John, and anybody that was around John, it became really important to them.
So well said. Keep the main thing the main thing. And it sounds like that's what John Madden was all about. Baldy, I want to let you go, man. I know you're down in South Florida having a good time staying warm. I appreciate you coming on. Good luck on the call throughout the playoffs. We'll be dialing in. We'll be retweeting your stuff. And again,
thanks. I appreciate you, Colin. Give my best to Matt and Phil and the whole staff, man. Go shock the world on Sunday, man. Go get yourself a win, man. Finish on a good note.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. That's okay. Enjoy it.
Okay. See, I tell you, Colin, if this COVID thing ever dies down, I bring you over NFL Films, but they're just so uptight right now. They're just, like, we're not in lockdown, but there's a lot of people working remote. Like, it's changed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like we were getting back to normal during the season until now we're carrying tracers around and masks. It's just it's awful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get it done this spring, this summer.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Stay in touch, man.
You will.
You bet.
Thank you.